here's the thing.
The ratio. You talking
Right.
about the ratio? Yeah.
Correct. That is pure Clorox, though. Pure Clorox is a 1 to 9 part ratio that you have to do.
Okay.
So 1 part Clorox to
8 parts
9 parts water.
Okay.
However, when you have a Clorox product, it's already mixed in there to that ratio. So you're good.
Okay, good.
Yes, you're good.
I lose myself. No,
Yes, no, you good.
Because, okay,
You
so
good.
I understand, but see, my house, okay, if you come in, it smells like brown Lysol.
Uh-huh.
And brown Lysol, you know how it says dilute?
Mm-hmm.
You don't dilute it?
There's no problem with that. Because that's a different chemical compound.
When it was so bad when I lived in Houston, my girlfriends was drop back to me. Are you home? I'm like, yeah, come on by. They had to use the bathroom because I lived in the Astrodome.
Right.
Or Papados, and they had to come to my house to use the bathroom because they knew it was good and clean.
Right.
And I'd be like, well, okay, it's right there. They're like, we know. Yeah.
No, and there's no problem with that. I actually, to me, that's what I got to do today. This is why, I'm not doing anything today because I got to dust today.
One minute.
I have to dust.
But you know what I do? Okay, you know the vents? I take the vents down and scrub those really nice.
Right.
I like that.
Yes.
Because I got.
Well, you know what I do when I do the remove the vents? I also put in a dryer sheet. I put a dryer sheet in to keep.
Do you know I can't?
When you change your air filter?
You know I can't use dry sheets because I break out.
Really? You have to use the
Sensitive, fragrance
sensitive
free?
ones. They have those now.
There's soap called, I'm gonna mispronounce it, Castillo. It's called like a brown lye soap. That's what I think.
We're back live, y'all.
We are
Hey,
live.
hello.
And no mic on.
Yes. That's okay though,
But the
cause
fruit is good, ain't it?
yeah. See them little snack packs. I turn y'all on to them things. Are lovely. I love them.
I'm like, okay.
Yes.
I like the one at Starbucks.
It's not like we were
Right.
looking at Charm.
But however,
She was like, stand by.
yeah.
1
We
minute.
can't get a countdown no more.
And
Miss
I
Charm don't
still-
like us. We gonna.
And it was just like, yeah, girl.
Uh-huh.
Oh, we got you. Okay.
Miss Charm, like, man, y'all get on my nerves.
I
This
know.
countdown stuff every
That's
weekend.
Miss Charm, she can hear me. Can she hear me?
Yeah, she can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Everybody can hear you, Mom.
You know what?
You don't need a microphone, Mom.
Everybody can hear you, Mom. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Listen.
I heard it. I was waiting on it to come.
Before we move on to,
Oh, I'm sorry.
no, we're gonna go ahead and go past it. We kind of already behind the time, Miss Sunshine. Thank
My
you.
bad.
Yeah, we good. We just behind a little bit. Real quick, before we go ahead and move into how can I love you and your house is dirty. Our special guest, her name is Miss Shannon Johnson. She's a performance and teaching artist and also a script consultant. I believe she resides in Houston, Texas.
I don't reside anywhere. I am a person of the world.
Woo!
I love that.
Okay. So give us a little information about you and where people can reach you and things like that.
Awesome. So I spent the last 8 years being a traveling performing artist. I've done Broadway national tours and I did Step Africa actually, which is here in Dallas, and they're performing tonight. So if you're available,
Yes,
go out and go see them. I was in
Alright,
the company
cool.
for 8 years, and now I've retired, and I let the young people have it. Anyway, so I'm a script consultant. So what that means is I help writers who are preparing their screenplays or television shows. So I do pitch preparation, script coverage, revisions, and rewrites. So if you're looking for somebody to kind of help you through your process, that's me. My website is called awriterforyourwriter.com.
A writer
That's
for
what I
your
do.
writer.
I am a writer, but I'm helping you write. You understand? Yes.
So we need to have a conversation.
Yes.
Okay, that'll work,
And on
that'll work.
Instagram, you can find me at The Professional Pin. So that's the actual title, The Professional Pin. And
Love
you can
it.
find me on Instagram and Facebook via that.
Yeah.
I love that.
So
I love
you
that.
dropped the other name.
Well, so my Instagram name used to be Madam Thickness because as you can see,
You ain't it.
I'm like the thickest thing happening. For those who can't see, I'm the thickest thing happening, right? So I'm Madam Thickness on Instagram, but I had to just drop it to Shannon E. Johnson because professionalism and whatnot.
That's
Well,
not what she's
who
saying.
said
Mom.
anything about being fat?
She said she's the
I said
thickest
I'm
thing
thick.
happening.
It's in your mind. It's in your mind. It's all about what you like. Look,
Girl, if I had
if-
to get it, I'd be like, but that girl is skinny.
if white people can decide that they're black,
Right. You can decide
I can decide
that you're thick.
that I'm 5'9", sun-kissed fitness.
So I'm the skinny girl.
Exactly. That's what you want to be. That's what you want.
So everybody's dream is coming true. Everybody's dream coming true. I love you, man.
goodness.
Let's move on to so. Okay, so that was.
6'1".
So from the disc of Q, this is what I'm gonna kind of call this little piece real quick. So quickly moving along, I posted a picture on our Facebook page. If you guys taking a look at our Facebook page, there was a picture of a young lady that had on a nice, pretty white dress, and she was actually a pretty girl in the face, you know. And yeah, she's pretty in the face, you know. She's pretty, you know.
Nice look.
And so,
No, she-
yeah, nice
she
little
was-
beard, everything.
yeah.
I mean, she was a pretty girl, you know. But she took a picture and she was posed. I mean, like nice little pose, you know, had the glutes and ass going on. But her house was dirty. And so what happened was
Mattress on the
I-
floor. Was that even a mattress?
that was a little
Oh,
pallet in the corner by the window.
right.
You know, she had shoes everywhere. Like the carpet was dirty. Like you know, like somebody ironed their clothes on the floor and you accidentally burn the carpet.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of deal.
It was there when she moved in. She didn't do that.
Thank you, Thickness.
You welcome.
Iron on the floor. Oh.
Yeah. So you can see, we give you a visual so you can see exactly
You
what.
can fix that one.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was gonna help her. I was gonna help her.
See, you can't
out.
help that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
She's
can't
cute.
help that.
That's not
Listen,
her house. She came in for the
Hold on, let me-
weekend
Thank you.
to stay with her homegirl because she's trying to go to a
But-
concert or something.
But you know what?
Styrofoam cooler.
So what's the question?
So
Let
this
me-
the
let
thing.
me
This is the thing.
Chop you down. Go ahead.
No, you ain't gonna chop me down. Because ain't no excuse for that
Oh, I'm
bullshit.
trying to
You
help
cannot
out.
chop nobody down
They
for
got
that.
a
one.
cooler there.
Yeah.
Cooler and everything.
Styrofoam cooler. Not even a Yeti cooler.
Make sure you guys visit our
And
Facebook
then-
page to take a look at this picture.
No, there's actually a cardboard box there too that's full
So
of
you
stuff.
wouldn't date
They're
anyone
moving
who
out. They're moving
out.
had a house like that?
First of all, let me tell you something. No, Ma, I cannot. If now, the question that I had on Facebook was, or the scenario I pointed out, you guys went on a date. You picked her up, y'all hit it off really good. She invited you back to the house, and when you walk in the house, this is what you see. Now, my thing is this. First of all, I'm sorry. I was not raised that way. I was the oldest child growing up in my house.
Mhm.
And the thing is that my mom made us clean up so much, it became second nature to me.
Right.
So when I see things in disarray, I cannot take it.
Mhm.
You know, now I'm not saying that there are a couple of, areas in the house, like for example, the kitchen, sometimes you may have a couple of dishes, you go in there and you wash them out, you gotta wash the clothes, that kind of deal, and you may have a sloppy process of fixing your things. So
Right.
that's understandable. That's pure filth.
But
That is pure filth.
Yes.
So ain't nothing you can say to me today that's gonna make me change my mind. Now I want you to cut me down on this one because that woman is nasty.
So
Well, and I'm
is
just-
the question, can you date her? Is
The
that
question
Would
is,
you?
would you date someone
Because
if they
men
were?
date nasty women all the time. So
All
my
the
thing
damn
is she's
time.
showing you
Who she
who
is?
she is.
Up front,
Right.
baby. Up front.
You was gonna date her anyway.
Because
You know what I'm
date
saying?
her
Like,
representative until she gets you. Until she gets you.
So if a man takes you out on a date, he brings you back to his house, and you see this, he's saying, okay, this is me, take me for who I am type deal. Would y'all be able to take
I'm
him?
not gonna date him, but there are women
No.
who will.
And depending on how much
Here's
money
my
you got,
problem.
I can get a house clean.
You know.
But here's my problem is, I mean, you see how beautiful she is and well put together she is. To me, your home should reflect that as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I said, it doesn't even look like she's got a mattress. It's like she's got a
Okay.
pallet.
A pallet in
And
the
I'm just
corner,
like,
Mo.
How many people do we
Obviously,
see
she's
who are
spending money here.
But how
But
many
that's
people
it.
will
That's
put
it.
together
That's the
who's
priority.
chaos? See, that's chaos. A lot of people, when you're not feeling your best, your home is a reflection of you.
Mm-hmm.
So you're probably chaotic. But how many people do we know who are put together, look great, and who are sucking things in their nose and putting things in their veins?
We not
So
know,
that's
but,
not
but,
indication.
but that's true. But this is one thing I can agree with you on is that a person's environment does reflect their mentality at the time
Right.
sometimes.
Where they are, yeah.
And so the thing is that even let's just say, or take that example,
Mhm.
if she is in a space that maybe she's depressed or
Mhm.
some things are going on, okay, that's something that can be dealt with, because after a while you be like, oh my God, my house is dirty. So nobody is perfect.
Right.
But this is clutter that's been sitting over time.
See, I actually look at this one a little differently because the fact that she doesn't have an actual mattress and there's a cooler in there that she's using as a side table.
Mhm.
It looks like she's in transition.
Mhm.
Like, to me, it doesn't look like I keep a dirty house. It looks like I'm down and out. This is what I got right now.
Oh.
Like,
But I would
and I
still-
don't mean just like, yeah, there's still stuff all over the floor, but I mean, when I'm looking at the whole big picture,
There
I'm
is
like,
a
how
40.
are you-
There is a brown paper bag that you put a 40 in.
Right, but I'm saying, like, that's the part that I find dirty. But
Right.
the other things tell me that there's something bigger going on here. You know
But
what
you got a
I'm saying?
Fendi purse.
But that's what black folks do though.
Yeah,
Like,
because
they
they
like-
went to Marshalls and put
But
it in
here's
layaway.
okay,
You
because
know what I'm
I
saying?
can relate. My house right now is in disarray.
Mhm.
Of course, I have been struggling and going through some mess.
Mhm.
Today, I'm like, you know what? I pre-planned it. I was like, what am I wearing tomorrow? I'm gonna wear this, and I was hoping because I know you got a dress that kind of looks like this. I was like, I hope you don't wear that because we'll be looking like twins.
No, I already wore it. I can't wear it.
But anyway, I was just like, you know,
You
Even-
need Jesus
even with that,
today.
before I take any pictures,
Right.
That's
Oh,
what
right.
you should teach.
trust
today.
me.
That's the
Yeah.
that
lesson.
area is gonna be clean. You're not gonna see any of that.
That's the lesson.
It's like before I go and cook, I'm gonna clean my
Clean the
kitchen
kitchen.
because I can't cook in a
Right. I
messed
can't
up
cook in a dirty
kitchen.
kitchen.
So it's there was
Okay.
Mm.
Let's delve deeper and let's not be surface thinkers. Let me tell you about that picture.
Okay.
Photoshop. Ain't no way in hell she gonna take a head
Yes,
to
she
toe.
Mm.
Yeah, well,
Yes, she
she
did.
took that
She
shit.
ain't gonna take no
But she
head
ain't
to
the only
toe.
one. Yes, she
Okay,
did.
say, Mo, it's been several people that do that. They don't care.
Somebody. Now I've seen girls take the pictures in the bathroom, and I'm like, your tampon is there. That's nasty.
Yeah.
But it's not used. I'm just like,
It's not the point,
put the stuff
though.
to the side. But that right head to toe.
because they
I
don't think about what is reflecting in the mirror while
Right.
they're taking that
Right,
picture.
see,
And
that's
I
a
do, and I'm
selfie.
like,
I do.
no.
See, that's a selfie. But what I'm thinking, somebody else took that picture because it's a head to toe.
Mm.
And
Actually,
somebody
no.
else-
You can
But
actually
she
use a
still
timer.
posted it. Like, it
Right.
doesn't matter whether she
No,
took
I
the
don't think
picture
she
or
posted
somebody
that.
else.
I think so. I mean, I think she posted a picture. She's probably in a good background, but I think somebody else.
Oh,
put
you
other
think
stuff
somebody?
in.
Mm.
Yeah, that's what I'm
doing.
doing.
Hashtag.
Well, I mean,
Photoshop.
that's good.
Oh,
Right.
I
Look,
love you.
hold up.
I love you.
Hold
Hashtag
up.
Photoshop.
I'm trying to figure this out because this is the part that yeah, she said hashtag Photoshop. I'm trying to figure this part because as a man,
As a
right?
man.
As a man, I was discussing like it's the beginning of the month,
Mhm.
and I gotta go get a new duster because I have to dust at the beginning of the
Come
month.
on, Dust.
Yes.
Not spring cleaning.
No, this is dust.
Right.
So, and I'm sorry, but my entertainment center, there's the electronics are a little
Yeah,
dusty,
yeah.
and I gotta
Right.
get
Gotta
that.
handle that.
And I'm sorry, but I'm trying to figure this out. Like, how do you get to that point?
I don't.
And maybe I
That
was
is-
raised
that's- I
different.
guess
They
that's
might
what I'm
have
trying to
always been
figure
that
out.
way.
In
They
the
might
past
come from
life-
their mama house might look, their grandmama house might look like that.
In a past life, me and Reggie were the same because I have a vacuum cleaner man.
Mm.
I got 4 vacuum. Not trying to be impressive, but
No.
anyway. But
You have a
I have 4 vacuum cleaners because I had 2 dollars.
right.
I have
So-
one upstairs and one downstairs.
I don't have upstairs.
No,
But I take my vacuum cleaner to get taken care of
Right.
quarterly.
Right.
And I understand you.
That's
You
a- that's
got
a
to do it.
PM.
But let me tell you, y'all, there's some people who don't know how to clean. When your mama 15 years older than you are.
She
Right.
ain't cleaning nothing.
Right.
I'm
Right. And
with
y'all
that.
both shared one room.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the room, kitchen, bedroom.
Mm.
But Mo, okay,
Yeah,
that's fine, and I can definitely agree with that.
Mhm.
But it's not like you've never seen a clean house before.
But some people don't mind it. Like, okay, so I just had to go, I do a lot of subleasing because I
Mhm.
live all over the world, right? And I am the exact opposite. It
Mhm.
has to be this way.
Mhm.
Some people can't. Why didn't you do this thing? You know what I mean? So some people like that.
And
Doesn't
me
And so now
Yeah.
you know on day one,
Right.
she likes that. Do I like that? See, the thing is, what will happen is they won't have that conversation, and he'll keep dating her, and then he'll marry her and wonder why she don't clean the house.
Right.
Now
She
that's
wasn't
true.
cleaning the house
That's
from
true.
the day you met her.
That is definitely
Because
true.
she sits her representative. But my thing is, men are looking at the wrong thing.
Okay.
Just like, a lot of men were like, oh, she's so pretty, she's so fine. Look in the bitch read.
Right.
Look.
I'm with that.
You know,
I'm with that.
Okay, this is what I had on my
Can
list.
she spell?
No, she
Can she complete a sentence?
Can't she stop spitting them birds? But this was on my list. I needed a man who had books in his home and they've been read.
Right,
and not the
because
cover.
now you just have to ask him, so what's that book about?
Right.
'Cause he might just have them up there.
Right.
Mm.
You know, libraries make you look smart.
Right.
So they put up the bookshelf and put books on it,
And
but
so,
they
and I opened the book. You you
Yeah.
should have some
Some
kind
kind
of
of notes
underwritten
or
notes
like
or something. in
folded
it.
over
Right.
pages because you
Dog
don't have
eared.
Had to have a
Exactly.
passport,
Yeah.
and it had to have this thing.
stamp.
Mm.
See what I'm saying? That was my criteria. I didn't give a fuck how you look. And then when I spoke to you, you had to have subject verb agreement. That's
Yeah.
all I'm asking for.
Yeah.
So I mean, okay, so I
So I don't care
get
how your house
that.
look, because I can get either Miss Johnson, thank you Jesus, out of
No, not
Atlanta,
Johnson.
out of Atlanta, Georgia. Maybe Miss Johnson can do it. Up out of Atlanta, she
Yes.
gets flown of the places. Miss Johnson or Maria.
Let me see. Now, we're gonna move on because we're gonna talk about being comfortable in your own skin, and I
She's
definitely
comfortable at
want.
home. That's all right.
She sure is because she put the picture up.
Ooh,
Mm.
if it wasn't hashtag
She's
Photoshop.
plush, right?
She got to come
I don't know what. You know,
So-
you just been on the air, don't you? Did you miss this moment? Did you miss this? This is what I want to say. We're gonna move on. I believe that all of that what you guys are saying is true. I'm just and then there are some children or some people, I'm sorry, who are dirty or whatever the case it is, and they grew up in clean houses. Sometimes some people don't like to clean up. But the thing is, I believe that, God blesses us based on how we handle what we have right now.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is that if you know that you're dirty, or whatever the case it is, and you know that may not change for you, then don't get with somebody and get mad at them because they're clean. Go and find you somebody else nasty and get with them. And with your nasty house. That's what you do. And we are moving right along to talking about being comfortable in your own skin. So you are a performance artist.
Yes.
Okay, so you talked about being all over the place, as a performance artist and things of that nature. So give me, or can you tell us, what being comfortable in your own skin has done for you, especially being an artist?
We're actually probably the largest group of insecure people.
Okay.
Really?
Because we need to get on stage and get the applause. And, we're
Wow.
our biggest critics. So walking off the stage, even if you got the applause, you're still telling yourself, I could have done this better, I could have done that better. I think what is helpful is faith when you get into this kind of industry, because you're going to hear no more times than you're going to hear yes. You have to
Okay.
understand that no is not a no of who you are, it's not a no of your talent, it's a no of you're not what I need for this particular thing right now. And what I'm going to do is not give it to you so that whatever it is you do need, or whatever it is God does have for you, you can be available for.
Right.
And I think once you get comfortable enough in that, you can walk on any stage and into any audition and do what you have to do. You have to realize in this part of the industry, it is about what you look like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're the most talented person in the room. If I'm looking for a girl who's 5 feet with freckles and red hair, you're not getting cast. Like, that's just what it is.
Right.
So you have to be comfortable enough to say, I represent this kind of person who does this kind of thing. And for black people, for a while, that meant you going in to be the maid or the this or the that or the blah, blah, blah. You just have to be comfortable in that and not let it affect who you are as a person, knowing that you're still God's child, you know what I mean? But when you walk into this room, understand that every role is not for you, and that doesn't mean that people are against you. But until we get to a place where we have more stuff for us so that we can be the diverse people that we are,
Right.
you really have to have some kind of faith in something other than just your talent. And that's gonna be the biggest thing that helps you to just be comfortable being who you are.
Now let's speak about that a little bit more, because I know for a fact that people who are in the industry, they are, I'm gonna say weak. It's not weak.
Thin-skinned?
They are insecure.
Yeah, they're insecure.
And you know who are the most insecure of all of the industry? Comedians. Who are the unhappiest?
Right, because
They
they
are
need
so
the
unbelievable.
response. Their response happens right then and there. Like if you're on film or on TV, you don't know how the people are responding at home. You're waiting to see what the ratings are and hope you got picked up for the next thing. When you're on stage, it's happening right then.
Yeah.
And
Instant gratification.
Instant gratification. And if you don't get it, the other reason it's easy to become unhappy is you don't know if you're going to get booked next. You know what I mean? You don't know what's going to happen after that. And because we live contract to contract, that's all you're trying to do is be booked.
That's
So-
why Cat, he got off the stage, he did a great job. He got on stage and he had to go do drugs. Like, really? Who does that?
Interesting.
You
That's
never
So
know.
it's a continuous high.
It is.
Hmm.
Especially if that's what you're looking for when you go into it. If you're looking for that high and you need that response, then yeah, you're always chasing it.
Right.
You know, that was one thing that I'm glad that you guys pointed out, insecurity. You know, it's, and I wouldn't say especially for women. You know, I do know that women do need security. You know, and men do as well. You know, but I'm glad that you guys brought that up, because a lot of people, let's not even take no artists, but let's just say a lot of regular people, you know, that may feel that their skin was too dark, or felt like that maybe they were too light. You know, the different environments that you're in, and people look at you a different way, you know, and it makes you feel uncomfortable because you're still trying to relate to something. Like, even though, you know, I said a while back on the show, where it takes this, that when I was growing up, you know, I was never really almost comfortable with my skin, because my skin was like a brownish red sometimes, especially when I would be in the sunlight. But I'll be red, and it would make me so uncomfortable because I wasn't like darker or lighter. I was like always up and down, you know. And so I was like, now as I get older, you know, of course, and you know, I love my chocolate, you know. So, but the thing is that, you know, I was more comfortable. You know, I don't want no milk good.
She calling you a milk good.
He chocolate like a milk good, and I like milk good. See?
Chocolate free. Like, call
I don't know
myself
why you taking it to that
chocolate free. Anyway, y'all know this. Don't say nothing. Don't judge me. Okay, y'all judge me. But you know, people hush mo. So people, you know, it took me a while to be comfortable in my own skin, and it wasn't that I felt like I wasn't handsome or attractive, you know, but that was my high. I was drum major, you know, for Kimball High School. So I was always gyrating. I was always looking for the applause or the approval of people at that moment. And it is addictive, you know. With the Prairie View, whatever case it is, you know, I felt like I was like the man on campus for a second, because I got attention. You know, I then started to fill out a little bit and stuff like that. You know, stuff started changing, you know. But it wasn't up until I started to realize that everybody didn't want you. And it wasn't because you're not handsome or you're not this person or good guy. It's because some people just not into you. You know, there are some people that's going to be for you. And that's when I really started to really adjust, like, oh my God, you know, I am, you know, your creation, and I love what I have, but I'm not for everybody. I'm not everybody's cup of tea.
And that's okay. I think
and that's okay. Like, absolutely, it's all right for them.
I'm gonna be honest with you, because you know, me and Q went to high school together, and I'm sorry, when we had those pep rallies in the auditorium, the band came in and he came high stepping around that corner. Girls went gaga.
They went
They went gaga over him. The football, honestly, at that time, the football players doing the pep rally, we were not the center of attention. It was the band. And he led the band, and he came high stepping around that corner with his lean on, and that was his moment to shine. However, I will say this, just like he lived for that moment, on Mondays, remember how they used to give out the stats of the team over the announcements on Monday after the game. The football players, that time that we had to shine on the field, and then to hear your name called over the announcements on Monday morning. When I tell you, there's nothing better than that feeling of, hey, you know, Hendricks 2 sacks and 3 tackles, and it's like,
and everybody cheering too.
Everybody, you hear it.
Just going
not just in your classroom, but you hear it down the hallway, and everybody giving you those props. And I'm sorry, it's one of those things that no matter what you're doing, you live for that high, and you just have to find a different way to. Honestly, you have to find a different way to get that high that's productive. Right. Okay. So for me, it was okay. Well, after football season, we did swimming, and then we did track and summer track. But then the thing that helped propel me, especially through college, was, okay, well, can I get this experiment to work? It was more so giving that, feeding myself and having my own personal moments where I cheered myself on. Right. And I think that's what we have to learn to actually accomplish. Because that feeding in from other people is great, but when you really start to love yourself, you actually begin to invent those moments for yourself and create them for yourself. Because honestly, the work that you do, sometimes it goes unrecognized for a long time.
Oh yeah,
goes unrecognized for a long time. But it's the grind that you have because you're trying to create something. That's what has to be your drive.
I'm glad you said that, because you also have to think about all of those people whose names never got called.
Right.
And
Right.
how long it probably took them to get comfortable in their own skin. And I think it's easy when we talk about the arts, we talk about sports to figure out how you shine. But everybody's got a skill.
Right.
And that
right.
skill doesn't have to equal talent. But you have to figure out what your skill is and then grind on that thing and look for other ways to find the
Grind on
applause
that.
so that you can begin to be, you know, comfortable in your skin, because there are a whole lot of people who never got that spotlight who feel like, how am I ever gonna get my own kind of applause? So it's great that you said that.
You know, that's another good thing, and then we're gonna take a quick break, and we're gonna talk about this a little bit before we dive into our conversation about sexual assault. So we're gonna be talking about sexual assault for the remainder of the show, but I definitely want to touch on being comfortable in your skin when we come back from break. But I also, I want you to take us to break too, since you're looking at me like, you know, you're
Oh, pay
confused.
attention.
Is that what you're doing?
Yes,
Is that how you teach your children?
I'm
Teach
into
them
it.
to school
Look at
house?
my back. Look,
Engaged.
I'm engaged.
Yes,
I'm leaning forward. I'm listening because it's a great, because when you're comfortable in your own skin,
I know it's Mo's mom. Go
India
ahead.
Ari,
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Mo.
you are right, as opposed to Alicia Keys taking
Oh,
another
oh.
man's.
Oh,
You know
they
what?
have
Okay,
a show
so
together right
so
now.
so the thing is, you stay on task, Mo. Stay on
Oh,
task.
no. India Ari, brown skin.
Yeah.
You ever heard the words to that?
Mhm.
Okay, because she wasn't comfortable, because she didn't win the. Alicia Keys won the Grammys, not because Alicia Keys was the better singer or the better lyricist, but because she had the look. India
Yeah.
Ari is a better songstress.
I think.
I don't know,
well,
I love
And then-
them both.
But
but you know what?
when you
This
listen-
was the thing. I have to agree with you. You know, because you know me and we be talking about this colorism stuff. You know, I'm agreeing with you because Alicia Keys received the Grammys in the same genre of music as India Ari.
That's right. They're
And
They're
so
not
the-
the same genre.
They're not the same.
It wasn't the same, but you got to think about it. Back then,
Oh, yeah.
that was
Black
Afrocentric
people.
music.
Boom.
You know, so there was no
Yeah.
because like I asked Miss Sunshine. Miss Sunshine is Afro Puff today, so I can say that she's Miss Alicia Keys today. I'm gonna say that you Indian. I was gonna say Indian Ivory. That's what I call her. That's why I call her, because at first I didn't really like her music that much, and I like some of her stuff, but I just wasn't Indian Ivory fan. That's why I call her Indian Ivory, because she come up out there looking like an Indian sometimes with no makeup on. But that's a whole nother story.
I love her.
You know, but I'm not saying that she's not beautiful, but sometimes, you know, I like to, you know, talk about people I don't like. But anyway, the thing is that, you know, I agree with you completely, because what happens is, in this country, in several countries, remember the Facebook post we had about the face of the skin lightening
Yeah.
or bleaching in
Yeah.
India.
Right.
How some different, oh yeah, I mean, it's crazy.
It's not
Even,
just black
The
people.
brown, the
It's-
darkest people of whatever people are at
Right.
the bottom.
Yeah,
all over
absolutely.
the world.
You know, and so I always say, and so I have to agree with you. You know, so being comfortable in your own skin, definitely, people have to understand that we have to be in a place where we're able to turn that on, like Hendrix was talking about. Miss Charm, we're gonna get ready to go to break in a second. She got, you know, like Hendrix was talking about, channeling our energy into things that you can do, and not what you think that people want you to do.
Right.
And that's where a lot of people have these identity issues and stuff like that, because they're not comfortable. And on that note, Miss Mo, would you take us to break and let us know what we about to jam to next?
All right, so because I'm back, so mash the gas. We are going into break, and we are going to listen to "Ooh, Do Me Baby" by Melissa Morgan. Do me, baby. Hey. And then we're gonna do "Keep On Moving" by Soul to Soul.
Soul to soul, that's my jam.
Yeah.
We'll be right back in just a moment.
Yay!
Yay. And so we're gonna stay live on Facebook and Instagram. No,
Hey, Facebook,
YouTube.
Hey, YouTube.
But you know, the reason why I put this post up, let me tell you why I put this post up, and this is for, you know, our people that's on live, so we're not on the radio. I put this post up because I was talking to a friend of mine. You know, I got a whole lot of, you know, retarded friends and stuff like that.
I am
And-
not retarded.
No, you're not. No, you're
Some
not.
of the things.
No, you're not. And what happened is that she told me, she was like, you know, I'm 43 years old, and I'm just now beginning to be comfortable in my own skin.
Stop.
Still talking
Is she
to their
married?
house.
No, not the dirty house. She's married for 18 years.
Children.
Two children living, one deceased.
18 years meaning she started.
She has 2 degrees, huh?
She got married at what age?
She got married the first time at 18.
Yeah.
That's
And
why I
then
said-
the second time she got married, I think she was like 24.
Whoa.
Yeah, so it was like
And then
after.
she had kids, so then all her
Then she had
attention went to them.
kids,
She never
went to
got an
them.
opportunity
To
to
be herself.
Yeah.
figure herself out.
Right.
Yeah. And so we were talking about that, and of course I made that same, assessment. You really hadn't had time to really live, to really find out who you are, and so I wanted to talk about that because do you know that we have so many people, in our communities that they are not comfortable in their own skin. I did the same thing. But I put on, I'm like, wait a minute. Yeah, that's my song. Miss Charm, now you know. Miss Charm, now you know you can crank that music up if you want to, Miss Charm, if you can hear me.
They don't make music like this no more.
No.
Because people can't
Okay,
sing.
so her version or Prince's version?
Oh, her version, her version.
No,
I mean,
it
they have
depends.
their own lane.
It depends on what kind of mood I'm in. It
Right,
honestly depends
right,
on what
right.
kind of mood I'm in.
Right.
Because this is the candlelight.
Yeah,
Teddy
this
P.
is I'm just get it version.
Yeah,
Prince's version, that's just you and your car.
Yeah, exactly.
And your own concept.
Yes.
Yeah,
So this one is,
yeah.
I'm finna, cause we still live. You finna get it. I'm finna break the mattress.
Or at least you about to try.
Look.
Because sometimes y'all have an agenda and I really came to watch Netflix.
Right?
Wait a
Okay.
minute, you
I
know.
wanted to
We
see that.
can rewind Netflix.
I
We
I
can
don't
rewind.
care.
We can
I
rewind.
pay
No.
for Netflix and
Look.
you come in and the music
Yeah.
is on.
in my house, Netflix and chill is
It's real.
Netflix and let's chill.
And you know why?
Did you get the
Because
popcorn?
you're married.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Look,
And
I'm telling
it
you.
took me a long. I was very naive. It took me a long
Uh-oh,
time
wait,
to
I'm
realize
sorry.
that when
You
a man
okay?
invited me over, he
I
did
didn't
not
know
want to
you
watch
did.
me.
Okay.
But I'm also in the
Okay,
industry,
no,
so I watch
I thought I
I
got
watch
you.
TV, and that's what I came over here to do. If you had told me that that's not what we were gonna do, I might not have come. If you wanted to just chill, you could have said just chill, and I might have just rescinded the invitation.
Hey, Miss Tasha.
Well, look here. This is break the mattress type music. I'm just
Wait a
saying.
minute. That's why that girl don't have no mattress.
Because it was broken. She broke it. She
You
got
know,
a pallet because she don't want to be
Can
involved
I
with
say
y'all.
this?
Y'all tell y'all what a pallet
Let
means.
me talking about this, baby. Now, no joke. I was on PV. I kind of, I was kind of talking and messing around with one of the resident directors my freshman year, so I ended up getting over in the village part, phase 2, before I was time.
Phase
Because, you weren't supposed to be over in the village till you turned out more. But I screwed my way over there anyway. So, yeah, I used my body for deception.
Okay.
Wait, was this before or after you were screwing on the mail?
Oh, this before. A little before. Yeah, before.
Yeah, because you get
So-
freak in the post office.
So this is so this the thing.
People getting baby
That-
deliveries with their mail.
Let me tell you, y'all gonna be like, yeah, I can believe it. But now, as much as of a person that I thought I was just really doing the damn thing at the time back then, I had 3 roommates. Of course, we all had our own rooms. They were all next to each other, kind of like this. And so sometimes you can see their doors open or whatever. And there was one roommate that I had. I'm not gonna call his name, because he do watch the show sometimes.
Right.
My old roommate. And he had more women in and out his room, and he was the nastiest man ever. And I was like, how you got Doritos, papers all over the place, honey buns, stickers, and wrappers and shit.
What
You
was
got
his major?
I had a roommate like that. He's an architecture major, and he,
you know what? Electrical engineering. Electrical engineering.
What did I tell? Okay, I'm tired of repeating myself. What did I tell y'all that women do? They look. Was he in a fraternity?
MRS.
Was he in a
He wasn't in
fraternity?
prayer.
Okay,
He wasn't
but
He didn't have to be. He
But
was an
he's
engineering
He's
major.
an engineer major. So it didn't matter if he was dirty because once he got the degree, he was gonna be making 6 figures.
I also feel like once you start getting older, the amount of mess and dirt you'll accept kind of changes. Like when you're 18, you're not realizing like this is nasty. You're just thinking, oh, it's the boys, they live over there, blah, blah, blah. Like when I look back at some of the people's houses I would go to in college, now I'm like, oh my God, I wouldn't step foot in there. You know what I mean? But at
Okay.
that time, it was like, Like, as long as it didn't look like, you know, you walking in and you got, I knew people when you walked in and the clothes were like connected to your shoes and there was food that was there from last week. Now that's a big, that's
what I'm kind of talking about though. Is what I'm saying. Like,
see, no, not
She
me.
was young.
Got 1 minute left.
I'm not naked with that.
She was young.
I
They were
mean,
young and they were trying to get a man with a.
okay,
They was trying
but
to
check
get
this
MRS.
out, Mo. But
MRS,
check this out, Mo. But then, now they knew that a lot of times that I would be the one that sometimes would clean up like the living room and the dining room area. So they say, bro, man, make sure the living room, you know, sometimes make sure you clean that up, man. You know, I don't want my girl to see the living room like that. But then you take her in this nasty ass room. You know, so my thing is that it's not that people don't think that matters. It's the fact that you people are wooed into deception sometimes.
No, ain't no deception. They see it. They don't care.
That's just, I
And,
don't know.
right, so that's not for
Bed
you.
bugs and they all kind of
Bed
stuff.
bugs.
Animals.
I mean, you know, that stuff can kind of happen. Now, you know, the year I was at PV, you know, Drew Hall got shut down because of scabies.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, my.
Yes, but that was my first semester, my second semester, sophomore year. All right, everybody, welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the show. This is your boy Q. I'm here with the MTG crew. Listen, if you guys want to join the conversation, I forgot to say the number, 214-717-4827. If you have a compliment, a comment,
We take
or if
compliment.
we do, yeah, we have
It help us
ladies
be
on here.
comfortable in our skin.
Miss Sunshine, what
I
you
do.
doing?
Look, just
I thought I was
stop the
stepping on
half
your
naked
foot.
pictures
So I
in the
was-
DMs, okay?
You know,
Stop
I got
the half naked pictures in the
Oh,
DMs.
yeah.
I got my
Half naked,
first
at least
half
that's
naked picture in a
respectful.
DM.
Huh?
What?
Yeah. I got my
I'm
first
still
half
waiting.
naked
Not young
picture.
enough. The young people take all their clothes off.
Yeah,
I
I'm
still
sorry.
got my half naked picture. Now
Use
listen,
Snapchat because it'll disappear, I think.
that was
You
that
still
was.
screenshot it.
Oh.
I don't-
Actually, Snapchat has memories now.
It stays.
Mm.
I can go back and see what I did last year.
How is Match Gas Snapchat? What y'all been doing? Because I'm not a Snapchatter,
I don't
chatter,
have
or
Snapchat.
what is it, chatter?
Look here, for
Whatever it's
Snapchat,
called, what them
yeah,
guys
if
doing.
you see it on Facebook, you see it on Instagram, you see it on Snapchat.
Yeah.
It's the same message all the way across. So
So
no
none of
matter
y'all are
what.
doing half naked stuff on Snapchat.
No, no,
Because I got a
because
proposal of words with friends. You know how you message people.
I don't see how
When I
people-
play Words with Friends, I play in Words with Friends. I don't want to talk.
nobody wants to play me with words with friends no more.
I've
You know
never
how to
played.
do? I have to do lightning round now.
I love that.
Oh my gosh!
I
do that
love
for 2-3
that.
hours.
Because everybody I've played in, Trivia Crack and
Trivia Crack.
yeah, Trivia Crack, where they ask you a whole bunch of random questions. And Words with
Oh.
Friends, apparently people think I'm cheating, and then they say they don't want to play with me no more.
Oh,
So
I'm sorry.
I can't.
Well, I've
You basically said I'm
tried
smarter
your
than
Toy
you.
Blast. I don't
No,
like
yeah.
that.
Toy Blast, I love Toy
That
Blast.
is my game.
Toy Blast
Now,
is
I don't know
I
what.
do not play games on my phone.
See, the thing is that you know I have to de-stress some kind of
Yeah.
way because
Yeah,
if I don't, I'm gonna
de-stress.
slit somebody's throat.
Oh, well, you know what? Play the game.
Yeah.
That's
You
what
gonna
people
slit nobody's
like.
throat.
We don't need any black people doing what everybody else out here doing, taking people out because they're
Absolutely.
mad.
Yeah.
Right. Now, thank you so much, everybody. Again, that was Miss Shannon Johnson. She's visiting with us on today. You know, thank you so much for stopping by to check
Of
this.
course.
Definitely hope you come back to see us.
Whenever I'm here.
Okay, so whenever she's here, Hendrix, I want you to bring her on in.
Well, you know, this is a fellow A&M alum. So, you know, we started Big Kick It.
Yes, the Aggie Big Kick It, November 9th through 11th in College Station, Texas.
Yes.
So
College
y'all's
Station.
black people's.
Well, we don't have
Have a
homecoming.
homecoming.
Right.
So we had to plan our own, and because we're black people, then it's the black people's homecoming.
Yes.
Thanks.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so shout out to the Aggies and the Black People's Homecoming
Yeah.
for the
The
Aggies.
Big Kick
Yeah,
It.
Big Kick It.
The Big Kick It.
Yes.
Oh, that's sweet. We should go.
You should.
Yeah.
We doing
Okay,
that.
that'll
Big
work.
Kick It.
We kicking it. We kicking it.
Back to the show, I guess.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
we'll
what were we
kick
talking
it.
about? I'm sorry.
I think let's go ahead and, and talk about sexual assault
Sexual assault.
and how it's plaguing our country.
Mhm.
I provided on here for us real quickly the definition of sexual assault,
Mhm.
so we can read this on the air and also get some information out for anyone who's been impacted from sexual assault. So anyway, sexual assault definition is a sexual act in which a person is coerced or physically forced to engage against their will or a non-consensual sexual touching of a person.
Mm.
Okay, that is the definition that I found online. And also, just real quickly, if anyone listening or watching us, if you're local here in Dallas, Texas area, and if you've been or you've experienced something that we just described with this definition, you guys can reach the Dallas Area Rape Crisis Center at www.dallasrapecrisis.org /contact us. They also have different locations that you can visit. They can be reached at area code 214-712-4900 or the crisis hotline. This is 24 hours a day, being answered at 972-641-7273. Again, that's 972-641-7273. For our listeners that are everywhere else and we don't specifically know your actual local number, please visit, go online to get your local county or city information, or you can reach the National Sexual Assault Hotline, 1-800-656-4673. They are available 24 hours a day. Again, that's 1-800-656-4673. All right, so real quick, I kind of want to blend this into a conversation that I think we need to really have, and that is sexual assault really being taken seriously in this country?
No,
Never has been.
no.
And let me real quick give you a couple of statistics that I did run across, and I'm sorry I don't have the information, but the statistics are proven to be true because the lady who had to do the swing vote yesterday for Kavanaugh's, she kind of brought up some of the statistics. 211,000 supposed reports to sexual assault from the year 2015 to 2018. Okay, these are just cases where somebody said, this is where I think something has happened to me. Only around 7,000 has been either investigated or looked into by authorities. So we're talking about not even 0.25% of known cases. We're not talking about the millions of cases that people are taking their time to say things or whatever the case it is. But as a people, I saw this yesterday. It says that sexual assault is a community problem.
Absolutely.
Okay? So I want to get your thoughts on where you think we are right now regards to claims and people who are actually being convicted or tried. Let's say that, because when there are some people who are tried, they do get off. And we have to say, if the person's found innocent, that they have been found innocent by the law. And what is the law? You're supposed to be innocent until you're proven guilty. Okay, so let's talk about that real quick. Mo, you looking at me, so I want you to go ahead and start. You're engaging.
My understanding is totally different from everyone else. To me,
Now be sensitive, okay, Mo? Be sensitive.
sexual assault has been around for hundreds of years. So I'm gonna go back to Jefferson. And
Okay.
him.
Yeah.
Anyways, I see that as sexual assault. She had 6 kids with him. I don't think she fell in love with him. I think he raped her multiple times. But yet you now have a Jefferson Hennings memorial thing that's going around from city to city, talking about how she was more than just a slave. See, so that's been happening since slavery. You didn't get, your great-great-grandmama wasn't light-skinned because this white man liked this black woman. It's been happening. So, and really until it happens to other people, it doesn't get noticed. Now, Cosby is convicted of raping or sexually assaulting a white woman.
Okay.
Anthony Anderson getting convicted of sexually assaulting a black woman.
But what up?
Remember?
See,
in the trailer? It was in this trailer.
And see, I'm not mad that Cosby got
Convicted
I'm just saying, if you're going to do this, be consistent.
across the board.
Because you have
very
I
consistent.
mean, but everybody else, until just recently with Weinstein, I think, there haven't been charges against them. So
No.
you
True.
can't get convicted until it goes into the court. And the same thing with Kavanaugh. That
Right.
wasn't in a court of law. That was just about, hey guys, I want everybody to know so that we don't vote for him.
Right.
But you can't go to jail until somebody is pressing charges. And
Right.
people aren't pressing charges against these people.
And let me just say that I think a lot of people are reluctant to come forth anymore because of, you know, the stigmatism is still there. And then because, you know, it's always prosecuting the victim.
Mm-hmm.
They go through it.
And something that had come across on Facebook that I don't know who wrote this, but it says, they say this could ruin his life without acknowledging it already has ruined hers.
Mm-hmm.
They say he was just a kid without acknowledging that she was too. They say it was just a few stupid minutes without acknowledging how those few minutes changed all her years. They say he doesn't deserve this, as if she does. They say boys will be boys without realizing that denied this girl her girlhood. They say he deserves better while implying she does not. Now, that's strictly talking about, you know, the sexual assault of women. I am very aware that there are men who are sexually assaulted.
And children.
But children, don't get me started on that one. And again, I don't think they're being prosecuted because I think a lot of the people that are making the laws are the ones that are abusing them.
Children.
And they
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
they know if I make this law,
That's
then
the
it
big
can
one
come
for me,
back.
too.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, we prosecute the victims so much more in society than we do the men. And, you know, it's always, well, she shouldn't have been there. She shouldn't have been wearing that. You know, well, she was drinking. She, you know, all these different reasons of why she got raped. Like she just asked for it.
Okay, I'm gonna say this, and this is coming from a male perspective. That whole talk about boys gonna be boys, bullshit.
Yep,
That it's the woman's fault, bullshit.
yep.
And this coming from a man. So I'm gonna tell you like this: if you can't control yourself, you're the problem.
Right.
At the end of the day, you're the problem. You cannot control yourself. You have no self-control. You are the problem. And I'm sorry, but you can be attracted to somebody. You can be drunk. Whatever the case is, at some level, you know what you're doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Point blank period. Because I'm sorry, I have been blitzed. I went to a school where it was common that on a Friday night, Saturday night, 9 times out of 10, you would be drunk. It was commonplace. However, at the same time, I knew what I was doing. And I never, because I always think about if somebody did this to my sisters.
Right.
If somebody
right.
did this to one of my sisters, or if somebody did this to my mother,
Right.
how would that make me feel?
Exactly.
And
Right.
that's the perspective I always approached it. And I'm sorry, men have gotten away with it. And I'm sorry, it's mostly white
Some
men
of
that
these
have gotten
sexual assaults have taken place within the family.
Right.
And it's not discussed.
right.
Mhm.
And then that's the other thing. It's like you don't want anybody doing this to your mother, your sister, your daughter. Why do it to somebody else?
And let me tell you why sexual assault's never gonna go away. Sexual assault's not going anywhere. Racism is not going anywhere. Hazing isn't going anywhere.
Absolutely.
Okay? And the reason that it isn't is because you cannot go into everybody's home and teach them how to raise their children.
Right.
Like, that's just what it is. Period, point blank. Racism is taught.
Right.
Sexual abuse is taught because you aren't giving consequences for behaviors that you see are happening. I do realize that it's a new conversation to talk to men about their behavior. That's a new conversation because we live in a patriarchy. So men have been able to do what they want to do. There have been brothels of women forever. We have been objects.
Right.
It isn't until recently that it's like, now wait a minute, that's not okay for you. So even somebody put up a post the other day because this little boy came home and told his aunt, I liked this girl in school and I told her I liked her and she said that she didn't like me back. And she was like, well, you know what that means, right? And he said, yeah, you just gotta keep pushing, you just gotta be persistent. She said, no, that means to leave her alone. But he had already been taught that as the guy, I'm supposed to make her like me. I'm supposed to keep persistent until she says yes. And until we start teaching boys that that's not what it is, that if she doesn't want to talk to you, she doesn't have to. doesn't mean that you can touch her in any kind of way, even though you're just trying to say hi. Doesn't mean you can touch her at all.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you can cuss her out. Doesn't mean that it's your job to change her mind. And I feel like because he already knew that, and he's like 7. Then
So
that
he's been taught.
he's been
See,
taught
you know,
that, or not taught it. You know what I'm
But
saying?
No
I
means
definitely-
no. No
Yeah.
means no. No means no. I don't like you. No means no. I don't want to have sexual intercourse with you this day. No means I don't want you to grope me. No.
Yeah, no
I-
means
I
no
thank you
means
for
this is
buying
not
me
an
that drink.
invitation to change
Yeah.
my mind.
Yeah, buy me a drink. I still don't want to talk to you. Here go your $5. Get out of my face.
You know, I'm glad that we're sitting down talking about this because, you know, just like with Hendrix, you know, with my first sexual experience with a lady, I was 13 and she was 19. So at the time, you know, you wouldn't think like, oh, that's sexual assault, but that is sexual assault.
Right.
You know, as a man who went through puberty very early, okay, in my life, I started puberty at 11 years old. So things on me were changing, and you're right. The conversation wasn't had with me. Not okay. Well, I go after what I wanted, type deal. But it was always that I was the type of person that always kind of slid in the back door things. You know, so that's just the way I was. You
And
know,
nobody said, don't do that.
don't do that.
Stop.
You know, don't. You know, and even if I felt like she liked me, I felt like I was the one sometimes that would kind of edge her on a different direction. Now, if she said no, it meant no. Now, I did know that, you know, going on in my life, you know, but it was always the nudge, you know, that some men can give women sometimes, and they do give in. You know, so people who are sexually assaulted, not only are they victims, but they do become predators. You know, and I wrote a poem a while back. I'm gonna probably read it one of these days. I wrote it. It was called 14, and I described how from the age of 14, how I became a sexual predator in my own mind, not understanding or knowing my consequences of what I was doing. I really never, after that point, after my sexual experience, I really didn't mess with anybody sexually that was my age. I was a couple of people that people knew about, but everybody else was in college or they were grown women. My mom would have been like, well, what are you doing? I always wanted to be around older people, and that's what I was sexually attracted to at the time. And so because you learn those things early, you turn into what you learn.
And you're watching and you're listening.
Okay, now let's go back to this. You were how old? 13, and she was 19.
19.
So now you do understand if that was your first sexual encounter, that you based that on everything else. So
Right.
you told no one that y'all had this sexual encounter.
I told my boys, yeah.
Okay, because let me tell you what happens now. Now you are responsible because she did it to you, she did it to others.
Right. Oh,
So at what point do you say, hey, she did this to me, and tell everybody?
Now that's another good conversation because I didn't say anything. Well, no, but I'm talking about
She sexually assaulted you.
actually coming out and coming forward with saying that is a totally different thing because now you pose a good question. When you are 13, and she was someone
19.
close to our family,
Right.
Sometimes a child or any person that experiences that kind of phenomenon, they don't know what's right or what's wrong because everything's in the middle. When you look at, for example,
Now,
if you are my,
you're 103 now.
but Mo,
You need to tell now.
But no, but hold on, let me get through because Mo, there are a lot of people, a lot of children that have to learn how to express what happened to them. And sometimes, Mo, when you go through your life like that, you don't know how to say that. You don't have the words. So
I'm
you
not
have to
condemning the
learn.
person who was 13 for not telling.
No. What I'm saying is that even from 13 till I'm now 40,
Yeah.
I mean, I've said something like 20 years ago, but what I'm saying is that when you, even 13 to 18, you don't think that anything is wrong.
I
Because
got you.
because at that moment that you don't think anything is
You
wrong,
just having sex.
you just doing your thing. And
Did
so
you
when
have
you
to, did
learn.
you tell the authorities on her? I'm still
No,
going
I mean,
back
I didn't tell the authorities on
Did you
on
tell
the
your
authorities
mom
on her.
about her?
No.
Yeah,
See,
well, later on I did.
here's the
But
thing.
But
Okay, what am I missing?
Here's the thing.
What am I missing?
Here's
Well,
the
the
thing.
thing of
We
it
need to
is
tell.
at that age, and I can relate because I was having sex when I shouldn't have been as a teenager, and I was having sex with adult men. And, you know, a lot of those adult men, you know, knew how old I was.
Right.
Yeah, they were picking me up from school.
Right.
But here's the thing. I was not old enough to consent. I think about it now, and I think, you know what? Y'all all some nasty ass motherfuckers out there fucking with children. But at the time, I was like, shit, my boyfriend's 23.
No, but they still.
And got a job.
I know what you're saying.
Okay.
Go ahead, Rich. 'Cause I know you've been holding
Here's the thing, and I can empathize with Q's situation because in my situation was pretty much the same, slight difference in age. However, she was quite a bit older than me. But then at that age, and I can only speak from a male perspective, as a young boy, when you have a much older woman come at you, and then at that age, because we're talking like middle school, transitioning into high school, when you're at that age, that's the perception or that's the stereotype of a man.
Right.
And you don't learn until later that's not what a real man is. I'm not going to go into detail because my parents watching, and I ain't giving y'all all my business. However,
no name.
Yeah, no name. I will say this. I was a freshman, and she was a freshman in college.
Yeah.
So this is what I think Mo is trying to say. Mo is trying to say, now that we are this age, why aren't we holding those people accountable? And the reason I think so is because we grew up in those same black households, so we're perpetuating the same situation. We live in secrets. And we're taught that's grown people business, stay out of it, that's such and such that happened with your cousin, we don't want your cousin to get in trouble, you don't want these people to get in trouble, black folks don't snitch on each other, blah, 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 blah. We were taught it, so that's why we live in that middle. It's not that we don't know that it's wrong, what we think is wrong is getting that person in trouble. We know that person shouldn't have been touching us.
Right.
We know that, but we don't want to get them in trouble. But then when we become adults, we still are now thinking, but now Ray got this wife and he got kids
here's
now
the thing.
and all these
No. And the only perspective that I'm coming from is that I can understand why a woman would hold on to it and why a woman would not say something, because as a man, I only started talking about it here recently in the last 5 years.
Right. But she's saying, why won't you hold that person accountable now that you're an adult and
you know why I won't? Because me and this same person, she came back and we had a face-to-face conversation about the interactions that happened between us.
Okay, between y'all. But if she did it to you,
who else did she do it to?
who else did she ruin?
Well,
Honestly,
Mo, I'm with that. I mean, I get where you're coming from.
I want her name.
But this is the thing, Mo.
Down 109, I want her name.
But this is the thing as well, Mo, because just like, she was saying, you have to understand that in the black household, one thing is taught in your household. Hold on, Mo, let me get through. What goes on in my house stays in my house. Mo, you was raised with that more than anybody. You didn't tell your mama that you was sleeping on the haystack in the back of the truck at Prairie Bay A&M. You didn't tell your mama nothing like that. But what I'm saying is, it was your business. And so as a man, we felt like at the time, I got a little business now. I got a little, and so
I got me a little trim.
And then too, and let's think about this as well. And Mo, this is where the separation does come in. For some, like myself and Kendricks, the assault wasn't something that hurt me physically. Do you have some women or some girls, some boys that they are hurt? My body was not physically injured.
But your mind was.
My mind was.
Right.
That's true.
That's worse because the healing can hit the physical.
That's
but
true.
The mind was.
But the reason why a lot of people are coming out now because they're stars and say, you know what, this dude hurt me.
Yes.
I messed up because
right, you know what I'm saying? And so at the time I didn't look at it as what it was because I am a guy.
And it's
okay. And so now you tell your question.
But you do better.
You do better.
When you know better.
When you know better, right.
You need to tell.
But I also think that's why it starts within your household, because if we aren't having conversations in front of our children. Our children don't know how to have conversations with us.
Mhm.
So
Right.
they don't ever feel safe enough to say it because they think that you're gonna choose Uncle Jimmy over them. They think you're gonna choose
Right.
such and such over them. And so because and I don't know how to change it because I feel the same way. We talk about grown stuff, get out of here. Nobody listen to you. Girl, did that really happen? Like, I get it.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
we have to be able to make a space where they feel comfortable talking. But they realize we don't feel comfortable talking. So why would they come in and try to ruin everybody else's life? Because that's what they're thinking. They're not thinking about their own lives.
Mhm.
Even as children, they're not thinking, this person did this to me and I'm going to be ruined for the rest of my life. They're thinking, well, what's mommy going to think? Did I do something bad? Or now am I going to affect uncle, whoever? You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
how do we create a space where they feel okay to say that?
That's
This
the
actually
question.
just recently happened. My 4-year-old, my husband picked him up from daycare, and the daycare worker was like, little boy touched him inappropriately. And I'm like, of course, the first thing you think is, what?
Mhm.
You know, they were in the bathroom together, and he was touched inappropriately. And come to find out, per the daycare worker, this other little boy touched my son's behind. Per her.
Mhm.
But she wasn't in there. My son, very adamantly, he didn't touch me here. He touched me here. Like, you know, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, oh, well, you know what? She saw something different. You know, it's not here nor there, as long as, nobody ever touches you in your private areas.
Mhm.
You know, and
But see,
that's the thing,
that's
though.
different because touching on the butt, we all see that on football fields. But first of all, the door's supposed to be open in the daycares whenever for the bathrooms all times, and only one person supposed to be there. So you just need to check her. No matter where she was touched, we need to know why both of them went out in there together
Mhm.
because that's not the rules state.
Mhm.
So she check her ass because she's
Mhm.
wrong.
Yep.
Yeah.
So no matter where he touched, I don't care if he touched her penis, back, wherever. Two of them wasn't supposed to be in the bathroom, girl or boy at the
To
same
begin
time.
with, yep.
So she wasn't doing. How many in that class?
Oh, it's a small class.
Is it more than 10?
No,
It
because they
doesn't-
have 2 separate classrooms.
It's not more than 10. Because why wasn't she doing her job? But that's something else. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Now, what I was gonna say is that I really want to know from you guys, when do you have the conversation? Because now that's
I mean, it's just I've raised my boys. They don't know what DICK is. It's their penis. That's my penis, my butt.
If you talk to them about these parts, like my mother probably did things that mothers of that time wouldn't have done, but my mother told me about every piece of me and what their function was.
okay.
So, and I'm a person who also went through puberty very early. I've been having these since I was 6. I've been wearing a bra since I was 6 years old.
Wow.
I was on my cycle at 9 years old. And my mother told me, this means that you can have a baby. This
Wow.
means that if a man puts his penis inside of you and ejects, his
Ejects.
sperm, his sperm, that you can have a child. I think that we are too busy saying what children don't understand, and we're not giving them the information to make decisions on their own.
And
So
making
they're-
sure they process it.
and making sure they process and understand it, and we're telling them don't do it because I said so.
Right.
And when you tell a kid that, they're like, well, I want to see what this
I'm
thing
gonna do
is.
it
But
anyway.
people say I can't too. And so that's another thing about the sexual assault that makes them feel guilty, because if they liked it, they don't understand why
Why
they
they
like
did
something.
Or if it
That's
made
what-
them
Right.
feel good.
Yeah, if it makes like it made them
Absolutely.
feel good,
Right.
then it's like, but the thing is, you're a sexual being.
Right.
It
Right,
might make
right.
you feel good. It doesn't mean that it's supposed to be happening.
Right.
But how
Right.
do they know that if you won't even talk to them about the fact that they have a penis or a vagina or breast or a butt, and that sexual things happen in all kinds of places on your body? How do they know? So when you're going to send your children to other people's houses or daycares or blah blah blah, a lot of people won't send them until their child can say, "This is what happened to me today."
Right.
You
Yeah.
know what
But
I'm saying?
at
They
the
can't
same
tell
time,
you didn't talk to them about it.
You start having to have these conversations with your children at the time when they start noticing their bodies.
If they're 2, Mom, what's this?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nothing.
No,
This is your.
This is what it
This
is.
is what it is. This is what it
And
does.
yes, and you have to have those and understand that for every age level there's an appropriate conversation. However, the sooner you expose your child to their body
Right.
and explaining what the functionalities are, the sooner and the better they'll be able to communicate with you about their bodies.
Right. And this is probably a whole other conversation about sex in general.
Mhm.
But we sex shame. I don't mean slut shame, I mean sex shame.
Mhm.
Right. Which,
That's good.
especially for women, like we're taught you're not supposed to feel it, it's not supposed to be good, it shouldn't be this, don't let nobody touch you. And then when you marry, all of a sudden you're supposed to be the sexual being.
Mhm.
But I don't even know what pleases me.
Mhm.
So
Wow.
if you don't talk to them about the
Wow.
fact that they are sexual beings, you were
Right.
put on earth to have sex.
Mhm.
So this is what these things are for. This is what it might feel like. You might enjoy it, but it doesn't mean that these people should be touching you in these places unless that's something that you want or that you're consenting. We don't have those conversations. So of course the girls who are 14 having sex with somebody who's 20, they're liking it, but they think they're not supposed to be.
Right.
And he's 20 and he likes me, and
And
I
he's
can't go
giving
talk to nobody else about it.
And he's giving you
Why would
money.
I tell somebody? Like what?
And you're not comfortable in your own skin.
Right, as long as
So
he's
because
not-
he's providing something for you.
Exactly. As long as he's not throwing me in the back of his van and tying me up, I don't see what's wrong with it because nobody has talked to me about what I'm supposed to be able to feel and think
Myself.
about my
But
own
this is,
sexuality and so forth.
and we're going off topic here, but that's another thing where I think the porn industry has made things worse in regards to sexual relationships between men and women because it's very distorted.
Because it's about what the man likes still
Right.
and how they
And I
get
mean,
to treat women any kind of way.
and I mean,
get that thing.
What kind of porn y'all been looking at?
Just
I've
porn.
watched the documentaries on Netflix and whatnot
Yeah,
regarding.
porn.
Regular
is
porn
for
is
that.
about the
Porn,
man
you ain't supposed to
being
get
in
married and fall
charge.
in love.
Well, but see, I think, and maybe
I don't
this
know
is
what
just
kind of porn
me
y'all look at.
and thinking that there needs to be an evolution in the porn industry. And I mean, we have seen some changes, you know, I really think, you know, storylines are not where it's at. But more sensual sex.
I'm gonna tell you one.
Everything, I'm sorry,
Hey,
everything.
Mr. Customer, if you're gonna do sensual
But
sex
I mean-
with the she said tagline. What she say? Not tagline.
No.
With the line.
Oh, storyline.
No storyline.
Yeah, with
Drop
a
the
story. If you're
storyline.
gonna do porn with a storyline, I'm gonna lose you.
But I mean, they
But you
have
know,
those.
that's
I'm
what-
just looking at
But
the
I
That's
mean-
back in the day.
But
kind of porn.
here's the thing. It's
Now
like
it's going straight to the
kids.
porn.
Kids, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Kids are watching this.
Everybody
I mean,
has
it's,
access.
it's like
Mhm.
right there.
It's free.
Boom.
On my
You
And
know,
that's another
and-
reason why
They
people
learn how
should
to
be
do
more
it.
open
And
with it.
and we really
From
need
the wrong
to
people.
talk about, you know, what it is to, you know, be in a sexual relationship and, you know, being able to say no for one and being able to, you know, communicate with your partner. I don't like that, but I like this.
Right. And no one
You know?
teaches us that. Oh my God.
And that's why, you know, you hear me say, I'm like, yeah, I'm 42 years old and I'm still finding out, you know what? I like this. And you know what? Let's try this. And yes, we're gonna role play tonight and, you know, I'm gonna be the sub and you're gonna be the dom or vice versa. Let me get my boots and the
Wait,
whip
hold
or
on.
whatever.
Yes.
I thought you was talking about substitute teacher. Never mind. Anyway, so but look, here's the other thing too, that we as a society, we
I
have
know,
to
we're going
teach
way
our
off.
we have to start teaching our young men and women about their true essence and their true role. As a boy,
And
as a young
communicating in
right,
sex.
it is not okay for you to just go out and screw everything with a skirt.
I just want you to like your DNA more.
Right.
I just want you to care. I want you. We teach girls that this is like the treasure, and I want men to know that about their sperm. too.
Exactly.
Every woman does not deserve half of your child.
Right.
But
No
no still
means
means
no.
no.
Okay.
It was a break real quick.
So
It's break time.
yeah, so we reached break time and yeah, we gonna hear some Mr. Loverman by Shabba Ranks.
Shabba.
Some kind of way.
I think that's the one. I don't
And
know.
One Love by Houdini.
One love, one love.
Yeah,
La, la,
we'll be
la,
right
la,
back.
one love.
Oh, I forgot to say the name of the song. I'm
The
sorry.
dinner.
I forgot.
But you know what?
The
Yeah.
dinner.
Now go ahead, bro.
But you know
you
what?
were
No,
saying?
some kind of way is the name of the
It's the name of
song.
the song.
Yeah.
It makes sense though. Feeling good in your skin can hopefully prevent sexual assault.
What was you saying?
The ages 13 to 18 for in the African American community is at a 96% has been at a 96% increase to 2018 from 2016
For sexual assault.
for sexual assaults, 13 to 18.
And I think that's because those are the ones we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Because I definitely think it's happening before
In
then.
family too.
Of course, and that's what I was going to say, 13 to 18, probably in your generation at that point in time, because a lot of this sexual assault goes from the Catholic Church to the black home.
Mm-hmm.
All different kinds of sexual assault goes on, with these babies, and I am.
And sexual assault with men, I think, is untalked about
Oh, yeah.
because there's a lot of shame there, and it's they
But-
don't want to. And I'm specifically talking about the sexual assault of a man by another man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's that stigma that I don't want people to think I'm gay.
No, and here's the other part.
That
It
doesn't
doesn't
make
matter.
you gay.
Yeah, here's the other part.
Right. But they
But,
still
but there's
feeling it.
still
It doesn't
that
matter.
people.
It doesn't matter if you're
And hell, there's
assaulted by a
people
man or a
that
woman.
think that people who are gay, they must have been sexually
Right,
assaulted.
and
at
that's
the
not
time.
even the truth.
And it's
Yeah.
like, no.
That doesn't happen to everybody.
Again, I say this as adults, we really need to, when we talk about sexuality and, whether gay or straight, take the sex out of it. Because it's the sex in our minds that makes it wrong. And not the fact that, you know what? I love you. I love you and I want to be with you. You make me feel good. Because I'm sorry, again, I've always known I love men. That's never been a question in my mind. Nobody had to tell me. Nobody had to convince me all day long. So again, and when I tell you that I knew my son was gay before he knew he was gay, he had no clue as to what sex was.
Right.
Why you ain't gonna tell on that girl? What's her name? Who her people? I need
I'm
to
not
tell
gonna
her.
say that.
Because if she did you,
No.
she did other folks.
I'm
But
gonna
see,
tell you like
this is
this.
the thing, Mo.
From a man's perspective. Go ahead, Steve. I'm sorry.
Now, as an adult, Mo. Now, first of all, let me see. I'm 40 years old, so now she'd be what, 46, 47 years old.
So she's done it.
I don't.
Do you remember her last name?
Sure do.
She's done it.
The-
She's done it a long
I'm like, I
time.
couldn't
This-
tell you.
The thing is this.
I'm
Mo.
like, I used to know.
It's not
Now
that.
it's like they're not important anymore.
It's not that, for example, me not saying something about it, or let's say snitching on her in the sense of the right people and stuff like that. It's not that she didn't deserve it. But see, this is only how I feel. Okay, not nobody else. Everybody, that's on lives. But I feel like this. In some weird, horrible way, for me, it was something that I needed because it taught me what not to do. Even though it was done to me, I wouldn't do it to anybody else. So yes, it was wrong, but the one thing that I do know, Mo, is that she may have been caught up by somebody else, Mo, that may have screwed on her because I hadn't seen that woman in years. And so somebody else may have got her. And so one thing I say this, for those people listening and stuff, I didn't have the nuts to say, you know what, hey, this happened to me at a young age up until I got grown, because when I got grown, I thought it was all right at the time because I am an adult now.
Mm-hmm.
But for anybody that has gone through that kind of stuff, you know, parents have got to be open about your children saying something to you about it, because it wasn't that my mama wasn't open, but see, my mom was a young mama. You know, my mama did have me at 18 years old, you know, right after she turned 17.
But she wasn't engaged with you?
No, well,
Like
it wasn't that
Because
she
I was
wasn't
all
engaged.
up in my kids'
I could tell my grandma different things. My mom was trying to get a college education with me, you know, pregnant, stuff like that, you know, and so I'm not making any excuses, but just like you said, when you don't know better, you know, you just don't do better.
Why?
And so I felt more comfortable confiding in my grandma, and that was like, okay, well, this is what you do. You keep this to yourself. You do this, blah, 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 blah. You know, and when you get grown, you know, you'll know what to do about your body
But see,
and how you feel.
Here's the thing.
That's
should-
true, Mo.
As from a
But you
man's
don't-
perspective.
I'm not.
They
I wasn't.
didn't-
From a man's perspective, here's this is what you all do not understand. When it happens to a man,
When a woman assaults a man.
when a woman does it to a man, if you come out and you say something, the stigma placed on you, oh, he
That
gay.
you're weak.
Even
Right.
now, but
Even now,
Okay.
but
I
here's the
see
thing:
that.
you
I see
can't,
that.
you cannot, as a man, express the fact that I didn't want to do this
With a woman.
with a woman.
And
You
you
can't.
got-
And then you got old school.
Okay.
Then you got Mo. And then look, check this out, Mo.
No.
Then you got old school dudes your age, Mo, that say, "What you gonna put a paper bag over her face? What you gonna do? What you didn't do this? You didn't do that? You know, well, nigga, you scared of pussy?
Right.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Exactly.
Mo, there's no
That's
way.
no, and that's exactly why we didn't say that.
You were raised.
Exactly.
Now,
that
too,
back then that's cool. I can see why you didn't say nothing.
No, and it's the same shit happening now.
Today, Mo.
But let me
No, but that's
tell you
saying
what
why
she
won't you
doing.
say it now?
I won't say nothing. I mean,
That's what
I'm
she
not gonna
wants to
say
know.
well, what's the point of saying it, but or saying anything now. My thing is okay. That was when I was 13 years old, and so at this point, I share my story to help guys who were my age to say something. To me, I'm not gonna say that it doesn't matter, but for me, it doesn't matter because it taught me what not to do. And so some people and some people learn differently, and that's just the way I've dealt with it. You know,
You got a
therapy and
13-year-old nephew?
yeah, my nephew's 16. I mean, young nephews,
And you
grown
talk to
nephews.
them.
Talk to them
and
and
I
let them
mean,
know.
I talk
Always.
to my kids and I let
I
them
do.
know that,
So
you
if she
know,
did it to him, it'd be okay.
I'm not saying that it's ever okay,
No.
Mo.
but it's
What I'm
just,
saying to you is that back then, the rearing that we had as young men, Mo, that first of all, we felt like if we got some pussy, excuse my French, everybody, if we got some coochie, and it's 19-year-old and you 13, man, that's a win, Mo.
Okay, that's cool. That was when back then, back in 1901. But baby, I'm telling you right now, right
Why
now.
won't you go tell
Tell
my name to
now,
the police
because
right
she's
now?
not
That's
the
what you
only.
wanna know.
You're not the
Because-
only one.
Because I mean, even
Okay, if the first so-called accused victim had told, maybe that wouldn't have been a 60.
that's I'm with you, Mo. I promise to God, I'm with
Although,
you.
you know, I'm still Team Cosby. I don't believe it.
But and this is the thing why this is why I understand women's perspective on coming out so many years later, because you hold on to it and it's an internal struggle to actually
Absolutely.
say something about it.
Okay, so tell
And
me.
then it's the realization that got me at first, like, oh my God, this did happen to me.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Right.
You know, that was the scary part. Like, oh shit. for
Which is why I
real?
think it would be great if we made the distinction between sexual assault that can happen when men are just dealing with women on a daily basis. I don't think men understand that boundary and that there are all kinds of small sexual assaults happening all day.
Right.
Nobody told you to touch me right,
Right.
there. I don't care if you like me or not. Nobody told you to call me out my names. I want you to give my number, like that kind of stuff. But then there are also perverts who are out there doing
Right.
it for the power. I think a lot of these men, maybe not, are scared now because they don't know what the boundaries are, and they think that they fall in that same category of I'm intentionally going out to assault women. And most
Right.
men are not intentionally trying to do it, but
And
it
I-
doesn't mean that you aren't breaking my boundary.
Okay,
and I
well,
think
Got
that's
1
where
minute
we
left, y'all.
identify the difference between sexual assaults, and I believe there are levels of sexual assault, and then rape.
Rape and then
yeah.
harassment.
Rape.
Like all of that.
Rape
Yeah.
is a pure evil.
Sexual
Uh,
assault and rape, same thing. I mean, I know the definition is different, but you're violating me.
And I think that's
But
what they
rape
don't get,
is
the
rape
violation.
isn't about sex. Rape is
power.
about humiliation, power,
Right, but some people
control.
don't understand that, and they feel like, and I think the men understand that more, which is why they're always so offended when someone accuses them of rape.
sexual
If they
assault.
didn't go
Yeah, if I
into
got
it
it.
That's why I
to
can't.
violate her.
I have to
That
watch
doesn't
what
mean
I
he didn't
dress-
violate
how I
her,
dress
Right.
up.
but you know that's why he's so offended by it.
Yeah. That's good conversations. Good conversations.
Oh, this
yo.
this one little drop.
Just put money on my books, baby. If anything happens to my baby, just put money on my books.
You know
Because
what?
I'm going not after that person, but after other people who has been done and didn't tell, and their whole family.
He's taking everybody
Put
down.
money on my books.
Put money on Mo's books because she's going after everybody's family. Welcome back to the show, everybody.
Let
Welcome
me
back to
know
the
why
show.
you coming.
Right? Hell, you know.
Listen,
It was so wrong.
It's been a wonderful show. Listen, Miss Shannon, please come back to see
Thank
us.
you guys for having me.
Please come back to see us. One more time, give us.
Cause she's
Y'all say, give us your social media info.
So my personal social media is my name, Shannon E. Johnson. I spell Shannon with an A, S-H-A-N-N-A-N-E Johnson. And my professional one is the professional pen. I also do t-shirts and stuff. I do all kinds of stuff.
Yes.
So, you know,
Do
just
you?
follow me.
Yes,
You'll see
her
it. Yes.
t-shirts. Yeah, I love. What is it?
Okay, so you want
I'm
to
Black
design?
2 Apparel.
Yes.
So you want to do our next set of shirts?
I sure
Yes.
You
can.
do that for us?
Yes.
Okay, that'll work.
An
then.
entrepreneur.
I am making my own schedule. That's why I live in the world.
I love that though.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah, she
No
actually,
address.
she makes our Aggie Big Kicking t-shirts.
Yeah.
Oh, those are nice.
Yeah.
Oh, those are really. I mean, I've seen them all on Facebook and everything. Those are really nice. Okay.
Yeah.
That'll work. Well, listen, Miss Shannon, we've come to like the end of our show and stuff like that. So, you know, again, everybody, make sure that you follow us on YouTube, subscribe to us, and also, you know, share this video as well, because I'm sure this conversation is definitely needed. We're gonna have it again some other time.
Somebody needs to hear it somewhere.
Absolutely.
In your
So
house.
like,
Somebody in your
share,
house.
share again.
Absolutely. Miss Shannon, we give kind of like an encouragement quote. I call it the MTG crew quotes at the end of the show. So if you had a quote to give our listeners to enjoy the rest of their day, what would it be?
Your truth is your truth, and don't let anyone tell you that your experience is not valid.
Your truth is your truth, and don't let anyone tell you that your experience is not valid. I love that.
Very good.
Mo Swag,
You gotta be who you are. You
right?
gotta be who you are in order to, you know, be happy. You gotta be who you are. I am who I am. You love it or leave it.
That's good.
I prefer you to leave it.
I
I
love it.
Well, you can love it because you She's thinking I'm thin.
Look at light.
Love it.
Miss Sunshine. What you got
I
for
just
us?
cheated. I just pulled one up and it's perfect.
Yeah.
There are no limits to what you can accomplish except the limits you place on your own thinking.
Right.
That's
And
good.
I have been guilty of this.
Mhm.
I have surrounded myself with people who are guilty of this. So if I cut you off, you know why.
Mm.
Because, you know,
My friend.
you at some point in time, you have to grow and flourish, and you have to be around those who will help you grow and flourish. And you can't do that with people who are limited.
As Granny we used to say, if I cut you off, it's because you gave me the scissors.
Mm.
Woo!
Man.
I like
Get that bell.
Granny.
Yeah.
Get that bell. Get that
I
bell.
like Granny.
Yeah.
Get that bell.
Idris, what you got, bro?
So I'm gonna hit y'all with random thought 522.
All right.
And you can't make room for your blessings if you're holding on to your lessons.
Wow.
That's good.
That is a good one.
Randy
Yeah.
got
That'll
five
preach.
too.
Random
I'll have to write
thought
that down.
522. So if
Yeah.
you follow me on Facebook, you'll know I have I have a list of random
I
thoughts
know.
that come
I've been
from
following since your 100s right in there. In fact, for a long time, I was like, what the hell is this mess? 100, we counting down, counting up, whatever.
Well, and
we in the 500s now.
Yeah, so I've been doing it. I actually started doing them on, this is how far back they go. I actually started doing them on MySpace.
Wow.
So I started doing my random thoughts on MySpace and then carried over to.
Kids,
To
MySpace
Facebook.
was back in the day when we watched the Flintstones.
So no, this is like the MySpace was the alpha version of Facebook.
And
So-
Instagram together.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What
So
a mess.
yeah.
No organization. Like, that's why I couldn't get with it. It was just
Yeah.
See, I
everywhere.
like the eclecticness
Oh,
of
no.
it. I like
Where do I
having my
find
music.
this?
I like having
Yes,
the
it's too much going on.
My stuff was just like
changing
flying
my
out of
background
factory.
every other day.
I like the fact that you can have on your page, you can have music, and then you can have a little video, like a a picture montage going on with your own little
All of it
music.
floating at the same
Yes,
time.
I love that. That's what I love
People
about
would
it.
just click on your page and it was all right there.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
Facebook, you have to kind of search for stuff. You have to backtrack.
Now, Facebook made all the stalkers have to work a little harder.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
But there's still a way.
There's still
There's
a way.
always a way.
Yeah, and yeah, the half naked pictures got to stop.
Oh, you're still getting half naked pictures
Yeah,
because
still.
you have a 3-car garage with 4 cars? Okay, I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, I just got my first one.
You know,
Your first car?
No.
No, my first half naked
His
picture.
first
Oh,
half
yes.
naked picture. He's
Yeah.
I don't want any.
Yeah, I don't.
I'm still waiting on
Let me
mine.
tell you, I mean,
No
it's not that I have,
inbox.
it's not that I have,
And I like boxer briefs.
Ooh.
Just, Yeah,
I think that's what I like.
I don't like tidy whities. I
No.
don't like
Boxers.
boxers are okay.
I'm so old school. I'm over
But
that.
I'm pretty much, I love the boxer briefs.
I like bank accounts with positive.
Oh, now I love that too. If you can make a pictures of
Turks
boxer
and
briefs
Caicos.
with your receipt from your ATM last transaction.
So you don't care what kind of drawers you got on, as long as you got some drawers in that bank account. That's what that is.
I don't
Yeah.
want to see the draws. Can we go on the trip without me having to see the draws?
You could go
That
to
would be
Manchester
nice,
all
too.
over and just
But I'm not trying to go anywhere with anybody.
have the black card.
Like, can we
Go
do
to
all
Manchester.
the things that you bring to the table with me just being
Yeah.
there without having to do
Visa
the
order.
things that I'm expecting?
Yeah, I got. Yeah, no, actually, American Express has a black card. Visa has a black card. Mastercard has a black card. They all
I'm good.
three of them.
I'm good. I don't care which one.
I will be your arm candy. You cannot lick me.
No,
up.
hell, I don't care.
I will be your arm candy. You cannot lick me.
I like to lick my
That
arm
needs to
candy.
go
I'm
You,
on
sorry.
you just want a girl to just hang out. I'm super fun.
That I can
But
agree
when
with.
the lights go down, I'm going home. I don't want to be touched. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if there are any men like looking just for that.
Yeah, there
Yeah,
are.
Can we just go
I
on a
actually
trip
like
and
that,
hang
though.
out and
Like,
not have
for
sex
real,
and not
I mean-
hold hands and not like?
Well,
don't
I
touch
mean,
me.
here's my
Like,
thing.
Because I'm the
just
same way. I don't like everybody touching me. You know,
Look,
I
here's
said
the
that
thing.
before. I don't like people touching
If
me
I
like
go on a
that.
trip with a woman, I'm gonna just be honest with you. We go on a trip together and we just gonna be friends. That no, you paying your own way. You do realize that, right?
That's not what I'm looking for.
Yeah, and see, that's the problem.
I mean,
That's the problem.
yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah,
Come on.
if I'm paying your way,
There is a man out there who just wants people to think he's got a cute woman in his life.
Hey,
Oh, so you just
Now,
don't.
if there's that person, yes, feel free, call.
Look, I'll hang. We can hang out.
yeah.
Wow.
There's just
So you
one
can hang
thing
out without
after
taking a
the
flight.
event is over.
No.
You can hang out without a flight.
But look, but the kind of man I'm talking about, his event is on the yacht. His event is in Petty. His
Yeah.
event is in Turks and Caicos.
Right.
He needs me to go. I'll go.
I need to go to the
Just don't
Maldives.
just don't
don't
leave me.
leave.
No, I'm sorry. I can't. That doesn't work for me.
And let me give y'all my little last little thought. So before we end the show, we got about 6 minutes. Y'all know I'm long-winded.
Yeah.
Really?
Still.
Woo! I said that to this lady. She was getting on my nerves. I said, "Jeez." And then I waited. I said, "Nothing." The kids fell
And if you ever wonder what is wrong with your teachers and your children at school, just look at the teachers.
She got on my nerves. She got on my nerves. The kids just fell like,
Now the
"Oh
kids
my
were doing that
gosh."
for the rest of the year.
Yeah, well, they knew what it was. The old people didn't.
Yeah, because we used to say the one at the K, we used to say, get off the stage!
Mhm.
Okay.
Get off the stage.
So,
Okay.
yes. Go ahead, Q.
Oh, okay.
Just another.
Y'all, the only thing I would have to say today, my little final thought is that allow people to learn their own lessons without you being in the way.
Okay. Okay.
Mm.
Allow
Because we
people,
always want to try to tell people, okay,
allow
I get
people to
you.
learn their own lessons
Let 'em
without
go.
you being in the way.
Do that another time. Okay.
That works.
Hey, you did that.
Yeah, I think one thing I'm learning is that you just can't be Captain Save-A-Hole for everybody.
Mm.
And some people are not worth your advice or your energy.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes you keep your mouth closed and allow them to fall because the only way they're going to get up is with their own
Yeah,
legs.
they need to go through it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Pen,
because
typewriter.
you want to write down more? What did you just write? No. I see the way back here. I know.
No. Stop.
Sometimes, I mean, you know, and let me tell you, what I've come to know is that the only way that people really understand what experience is not when they keep going through it, but it's when they reach the bottom of what they've
They'll expect,
always
yeah.
done.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes that's why a lot of us, are stubborn to learn lessons. Is because you make it out of it, okay, and so now I can go right back to it and do it again. But see, there's gonna come a day when you're going to do the exact same thing, but when you do it, you're not gonna have a way up
You're gonna hit
anymore,
that brick wall.
and you're gonna hit that wall, and nobody can repair your life but yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And so when people on the paper, when people go through things where the case it is, and you see that you know, along the way they're losing people left and right, and you continuously losing people, and you'll think that, oh, okay, well, they're not really the problem. You might be the problem, you know, and so you can't continue to spew, you know, allow people to spew their trash and the guts of their life on your life when you're trying to go a different direction. So you allow people to go through their own lessons and let them spew in their own mess.
Preach that, that's.
Because you're trying to bring them up, and what they gonna do is take you
all the way down.
with
I'm
them.
trying to help you because I'm all about the next generation.
Right.
You done messed up yours. But I'm trying the next generation. I'm trying to help somebody because I'm older, I'm wiser, I'm cuter, and I'm trying to help the next generation. I'm trying to help. I'm not telling you what you should do because I ain't done it and it's fucked up.
Yeah, trying to help
I'm
you.
trying to help you so
right.
you won't go through that. I'm
Yeah.
trying to help you with
But
your
that's
credit.
what
I'm
they
trying to
need to.
help you with your money. I'm trying to help you to make decent decisions. I'm trying to say, don't go with that dude just because he got a big penis. Go with the other dude with a big bank account.
Yes.
Because in the end, it's all about the next generation. This trick ass.
Don't even
song.
set yourself up to know how good the penis is if you haven't checked out the other stuff, so you won't get.
That's why you don't do
Something
the penis thing.
And
That's
see,
why you
and
don't
that's,
do the penis thing.
and that's why, you know, but we're gonna definitely talk about this, talk about, you know, this in depth, you know, about how you. I'm about to tell you when a woman gets the dick confused with her life, because women always get the dick confused.
That's why I say
Don't
no
say
to that
always.
until you see
Don't
all
say
the rest
always.
of it.
Because they fall in love.
Well,
Yeah, don't
okay,
say
well, let me say this: more likely than not.
Look, I don't care what you say. No,
You just
stop.
mean women.
Pause.
You don't mean all women.
Pause.
Not all women.
No,
not
pause.
all women.
Pause.
Well-
Because I'm gonna say this, and this is it. I'm gonna say this right here, right now. I don't care if you're a man or a woman. Everybody got that one.
That one.
Yes.
Yeah, but
I
this
agree.
one got 24.
No. I'm saying everybody has
I don't
that
have
one.
I ain't never had.
And I'm gonna say everybody got that one
And
because
it is officially 11:59, y'all.
look,
Yeah.
everybody got that one. And if you know who that one is, I'm sorry.
Nope.
Everybody got that
Make
one.
sure you guys follow us on our
If you watch
social
it,
media,
the answer's
on Facebook. Miss Shannon, thank you so much for joining us again on today. She's gonna come
Thank
back.
you,
Absolutely.
Again, listen, everybody, join us next Saturday night for the conversation. Next Saturday for the conversation right here on the After Party Radio at 10 a.m. Again, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and also on YouTube. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We appreciate all that good stuff and all that good shit, and we're gonna see you.
OG right now, Kumo D, Wild Wild West.
Yes.
Whoa, West. Whoa, West.
All right, y'all. Peace.
Thank you guys for joining. We'll see y'all in a little bit.